What's going on, guys? It has been forever and a day. I hope you all have been doing well. For the past 2 weeks, it's been rather boring, not gonna lie. It's been very boring, pretty much sideways for 2 weeks now. Um, yeah, I just wanted to kind of update you all on where my mindset is at. Been mostly focusing on Ethereum post-merge due to it, I think, being a better asset than Bitcoin. Sorry, Bitcoin, but um, yes, the proof of stake model is still conceptual, but given that the burning mechanism within the system itself, within the ETH mainnet, it does make the asset itself more so deflationary, as opposed to Bitcoin, which is more so fixed supply. There's still debates and all that kind of stuff, but without within further research of all of this kind of stuff, I've just kind of really preferred Ethereum over Bitcoin. We can get into that another day. But yeah, going into the chart on the 4 hour, I've been keeping my eye on the TSI. The TSI looks like it wants to kind of curl back up, and it has kind of created this like ratcheting effect from point A to point B. So there is a upward trend. So as you notice these two lines here, these two lines I've been keeping track of actually for the 2 hour. It makes more sense here. So how the TSI works is you can actually create trends. You can locate trends and patterns. Now I tracked the downward momentum that's obviously been broken. We had a trend here that was kind of preliminary, and I can kind of go through the play-by-play with you if you all are interested. Um, okay, yeah. So once this mega dump began, basically where the falling wedge kind of commenced, I noticed this downtrend. So usually with these downtrends, they do take a while to break, as you can see. Uh, Really, I would argue that it kind of started around here. Yeah, pretty much. I'd give it right here. That was a bearish engulfing candle. This particular trend was not broken until basically 8 days, pretty much almost. Yeah, 7 days and 10 hours to be exact. Um, yeah, it didn't take too long for the secondary, which is the more pivotal, trying to get broken, as you can see. So the red line here, it's been back tested multiple times. So from my perspective, this downtrend is pretty much over, and price action starting to mimic that. We're seeing more so just sideways action. Now, we are below the VWAP, which is this light blue line, the volley weighted average price. Technically, we are in oversold territory, and we are in quote unquote bargain territory if you're looking at it from more so like a swing trader's opportunity perspective. Um, but on a macro level, we still, in my opinion, have downside to kind of look for. So I'm going to look at this particular line right here, this red line, and this main green line right here. So we do have this downward channel kind of playing out, and this thing can go on for a while, okay? It can go on for a while, but my point of emphasis here is these downward channels are actually rather bullish in nature. Oh my God, that looks terrible. Didn't turn out as beautiful as I'd hoped, but these are bullish in nature. Now, what I'm expecting myself is as long as price has not broken 1,268, we're still going to be bouncing within this choppy range. We could go to the 1 hour and really kind of get the bearings of it all. Yeah, I'll do it like this. Yeah, basically. No, I'm not going to do a channel. It would have looked nice, but I'll just do it this way. Simpler. Okay, from right here, I'm going to make it white just so it's not really um, biased in any color. But yeah, essentially we are in this chop range. Pretty much, relatively speaking, in a 15% range. Okay, um, until I see an hourly candle close break below this wick bottom here at basically 1200, I'm expecting us to kind of continue forth here. There's significant resistance. As you can see, pretty much at 1400, it has been back tested as resistance. pretty much, yeah, here. Tried a second attempt, but didn't even touch it last time. So technically, we are still getting those lower high situations. Um, so frankly, we are kind of in a situation where we could see a break to the downside pretty soon. But this topside resistance has not been back tested since really 2 weeks ago. All right, so on the hourly, it's pretty obvious where you can see resistance, 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 resistance. So this thing has been back tested and has been confirmed as a true resistance line. So I'm expecting at some point for the bulls to test this line at some point. Do I expect it to break? Not necessarily. I could actually see another rejection theoretically come from it. So really the line in the sand right here where I do see some confluence is where the lines converge, which is right here, top side, right here. I'm going to circle it just for the people who don't really understand what I'm talking about, right here. So that price point is 1,405. I'm sorry, 1,405. Yeah, that's okay. I said that I said that correctly. Um, yeah, so I do see this as a pretty strong resistance, frankly. To me, this is pretty difficult to ignore uh, at this time. I would definitely need to see a daily candle close above 1400 to feel more confident that, oh, okay, this was just like a head and shoulders fake out situation. Um, So as you can see here, if you're attuned to patterns, we had a shoulder area, we had a head, and then we had another shoulder. And this thick uh, red line over here, right here, is the neckline, pretty much at 1405, which was back tested as resistance just now. Or not just now, but in recent memory, late September, basically 21st of September, it was officially back tested as resistance. But as you can see, this green line right here at 1,267, which was previous resistance, pretty much for the span of uh, a month, that 33 days and 11 hours. This was pretty much resistance here at 1,269 roughly. Um, Broke out, went parabolic to the upside, which was really fun. Um, yeah, and now, yeah, after the rising channel, we are kind of really bouncing off of this zone again at 1,269, 68. So we do have a confirmation of backtesting of old resistance as support. It has been support for 2 weeks now. We are at a key inflection point, which is a 15% range, where the bulls and the bears are battling it out for supremacy. What's going to happen? Are we going to break out, continue all the way up to the upside, retest 2K, or are we going to actually finally break through 1,269 to eventually come back to the wick lows of basically the high 800s? This is something that I have been keeping my eye on. It's been super boring. It's been hella crazy. I mean, if you're a scalper, this has been just fun times for you. Um, a lot of opportunities from, the 3 minute, the 5 minute. I do not recommend it at all. To be honest, I haven't been trading for the past 2 weeks, really. I just set a limit order and I just pretty much set my limit order, set my stop loss. I've been pretty busy as of late, so I can't really deep dive as I kind of did the last month. But overall, yeah, nothing's changed really as long as price is above key levels within the 1 hour in particular. I'm still bullish. Let me see. I wanted to show you something. I'm kind of blanking. Oh, yeah. The daily chart. So the daily is actually showing, so I have this tool that's giving me arrows that shows signs of reversals in terms of pumpages and dumpages and all that kind of stuff. So my my moving averages have converged and now they're acting as support for the time being, which is rather interesting. We still have 5 hours for this daily candle close to be official, but overall, if price is able to actually create a higher low within the daily chart, basically a higher low in the daily chart and then a bullish engulfing candle, um, we are looking at possibilities here at a pretty nice pivot point on a daily perspective. This would be huge because for various factors. One, we solidify 1,268 as support, and it gives us another shot at breaking through 1,400. Now, if we break through 1,400, this downward sloping channel, um, which, as I stated before, is technically a bullish pattern on a macro perspective, we could see something like this, where we're chopping, 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 inflection point, breakout, back test of support, boom, we're off to the races. That would have been a huge fake out for the people who think that this is a head and shoulders pattern. Um, and then ultimately we would create a double bottom, higher low, a higher low double bottom, which would be right here. That's best case scenario. Okay. Uh, do I think that's going to happen? Um, that's to be seen. That's really hard for me to even answer at this point in time. I would love to see price tag 1,400 again. Now, I could be, greedy or whatever and assume that it's going to go to 1,400 again. But given what I'm seeing with my moving averages here, as you can see, it's from red, now it's green. As you can see what happened over here when it went red, then it's green. So I am expecting a pump to the upside. Now the intensity of the pump, that's really to be seen. Ultimately, there's a lot of resistance above us. The psychological price point of 1,400, the neckline of this head and shoulders that's already been back tested, by the way, this top resistance line, the sloping resistance line here as well. There's a lot of factors at play that would make anyone bearish, right? Uh, but you know, I am noticing that the market does want to pivot, even from the daily perspective. As you can see, the TSI here, it's going from yellow, to green. Same thing right here. It just makes more sense to see that cross. But let me go to the 12 hour. As you can see, the 12 hour has already turned green and has already experienced a dump and wants to try to continue further. So if I go to the 4 hour, for example, same thing. So from an intraday perspective, yeah, I do expect some pumpage to the upside. I'll be completely honest with you. And there's other indicators over here which I can show you that are showing similar things. As you can see on the 8 hour, we're getting somewhat of a trigger wave. Yeah, as you can see on the MACD, somewhat of another trigger wave. The TSI pretty much is confirmed. So as long as price is above 1,300, you could consider this a little bit of a bullish run that's about to occur. Now the ADX is kind of consolidating, which is interesting. So yeah, like volatility is coming to the downside, so which kind of makes me feel a bit more better about my thesis, which is like, yeah, we are going to see movement to the upside, but do I see it as like a powerful pivot, a macro pivot? Not at this time. I would more so kind of feel better in expecting price to come all the way up, maybe to like 1,400, and maybe we see a rejection. So I did tell you the best case scenario where we actually break out of this descending channel, but there is an opportunity for the bears to kind of regain some momentum and get that rejection and to finally break through these support lines to then come down to major support zones here at 1,800. I'm sorry, 880. Roughly speaking. But yeah, pretty much wherever ETH goes, the market goes at this time. Just due to the NFT market, I mean, Solana has its own NFT market, which is a little bit different of what ETH is up to. Usually in bear markets, NFT markets do ultimately thrive. So if you are like into maybe finding arbitrage opportunities, there are NFTs that you could play with. Now that market's really new, it's really fresh, so I wouldn't expect you or want you to actually play around in that market unless you're like getting spoon-fed by like experts and stuff like that. There's a lot of NFT bros that will, lead you the wrong way, and maybe I can kind of, make a collection of NFT enthusiasts and experts who can kind of like lead us in the right direction for that. But right now, I want to stick it to crypto. But yes, going back to it, the NFT market is a market of its own, but it is built on the foundation of Ethereum. So yeah, there is, you know, uh, arbitrage to be had within the given market, even though we are in a downturn. Um, but anyway, I'm just going to leave it at that. This is pretty clear cut. We're sticking within this range of basically 1,200 to 1,400 until we see some definitive action. Now, if you see a 4-hour candle close above or below those spots, then you could actually say it's trend breakout, and we are going to go from a choppy market to a trending market. Now, are we going to trend to the upside for a bit, or are we going to trend to the downside for a bit? That's really to be determined. But yeah, I mean, we still have a couple more days. I mean, there is an inflection point from the top here that is how many days away? That is 2.5 days away for the top. And for the bottom, that is roughly basically almost 12 days away. So we still have time here to kind of get all of our ducks in a row and make a decision. If in fact you are wanting to make a decision, whether if you want to sell off your stuff or maybe you want to, add to your position. Who knows? I have no idea. But anyway, thank you very much for your time. If you haven't liked this video yet, please do so. It really helps the channel grow, and it's kind of like how the algorithm works. It is the digital currency within the YouTube space, and I would greatly appreciate that. Yeah, all right. I'll leave it at that. Have a great rest of the day. Take care, and bye-bye.